We don't march and protest because we like to march and protest. All we want to do is be free.
Shaun King.
17 past the hour. Shaun King is co-founder of the Real Justice PAC, columnist at The Intercept and Fair Punishment Project. And today, Shaun's releasing a full report on his past fundraising efforts. Great to have you on, Shaun. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Good morning, everybody. Just a few minutes. Hey, good morning. Just a few minutes ago, we released a 72-page report on every single penny I've ever raised in the Black Lives Matter movement and beyond. And when you can go now to ShaunKingFundraisingReport.com and check it out. That's ShaunKingFundraisingReport.com. And in the 5 years since the Black Lives Matter movement began, I've helped to raise $34.5 million, which is even more money than I thought I had raised across the years. It's more than any other single person in the entire movement. And I asked 7 different experts to look at every fundraiser I ever had anything to do with. Those 7 people were Tamika Mallory, who's been a guest here on the show. She's co-chair of the Women's March, co-founder of the Justice League. Becky Bond, who's partner at an organization called The Social Practice. Tiffany Hawkins and Alan Boomer, who are financial experts with Momentum Advisors. Rob Smith, who is an attorney and executive for a group called the Justice Collaborative. Another attorney, David Matrani, who is one of the leading attorneys in government and compliance. And another guest of the show, civil rights attorney Lee Merritt. And they were joined by a CPA and tax attorney named Richard Bell. And I asked all 7 of them to take a deep dive into all of my fundraising. And I gave them full permission to report the good, bad, and ugly of what they found. And they produced that 72-page report. And they looked at 4 different sets of materials. First, they tracked every fundraiser that I've ever promoted, anything that I promoted through my social media channels, speaking, or anything else. And they reached out to every family who spearheaded the fundraisers or their attorneys. They obtained statements from 47 different families across 76 different fundraisers. And they all made clear that I have never, not once, accessed any funds that I've ever helped raise, not once. For several old and active fundraising pages, mainly from 2014, the group was not able to track down the original host. However, they were able to get in touch with people like GoFundMe, all of which confirmed that, I never had access to any of those fundraisers. Secondly, they received full accounting to all of the fundraising I've done for the Real Justice PAC and for the new group that we formed, the Action PAC. At the Action PAC, I don't even receive a salary. We have 15 paid staff members, and I'm not one of them. It was decided months before we launched the PAC and months before we launched our campaign to flip the Senate that I wouldn't be paid for any of my work there. And the team personally confirmed that I've never been paid for any of that work. And reports of that campaign to flip the Senate being a scam or a fraud or a grift, the team found all of that was erroneous and completely unfounded. And at Real Justice PAC, an organization with a multi-million-dollar annual budget, I receive only a modest annual salary. I'm not even anywhere near the highest paid person there. I receive about $48,000 a year in annual salary. Third, and this was almost embarrassing, the team requested and received the past 5 years of my tax returns. With the assistance of a CPA, Richard Bell, they reviewed the past 5 years of my full tax returns that I filed jointly with my wife for the past 5 years of 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2017, and we're about to file 2018. And they concluded, after they looked at all of those tax returns, that I've never received any money from any political campaign, never received any money from any fundraiser, directly or indirectly. From the tens of millions of dollars that I've raised, I've never been paid for it. Not on the low, not on the side, not even reimbursement for travel or anything like that. I haven't been paid for any political campaign that I've ever supported. And they found, as most people know, that I've literally worked three jobs continuously for the past 5 years to support my family and to really allow me to do the fundraising that I do. And lastly, they asked my wife for full access to all of our checking accounts, savings accounts, credit cards, retirement accounts, money management software, and we provided it. And the history of those accounts went back more than 10 years. Tiffany Hawkins and Alan Boomer, each of them are industry-leading financial advisors, and again, found not one financial irregularity other than sometimes we were dead broke. They did find that. They didn't find any evidence of malfeasance or abuse or fraud or misappropriation. All of these things that people continue to say online, really just to destabilize the fundraising that I do. And here's the thing. They found no evidence ever that I've ever even had access to any of the funds that I've raised. They searched for that. They asked families. And not one single family, charity, cause, or campaign ever said that I was compensated or had access to any funds that I raised directly or indirectly for any of the fundraising. In fact, of the $34.5 million that I've raised, the only time I've ever been paid is for the work that I do with the Real Justice PAC. And they provide all of this documentation, 72 pages worth. You can check it out. It's at ShaunKingFundraisingReport.com. And here's the thing, and I'll close with this. I don't think that my haters and detractors are going to go anywhere. I don't think they're going to disappear. I don't even mind having critics. But when people continue to lie and say that I'm doing anything unethical or illegal, any of the money that I raise is just a lie. But this report that we made, it really wasn't for my haters. We looked at every aspect of my financial life, my tax returns, my bank accounts, and all of that's online. Here's the thing. I didn't do it for my haters. I did it for my supporters, because over the years, you all have continued to support and give and be generous for so many different fundraisers, many of which we've talked about right here on the show. And here's the thing. After doing all of this, there's nothing else I can do about it. I've said everything I can say. I've put everything out there. I've done more at this point than most presidential candidates, and certainly more than Donald Trump himself. And here's the thing. We've got work to do. And here's the thing. We didn't create this report for my detractors. We created it for the listeners of the show, for the supporters of the fundraiser. And I'm going to continue doing what I do. And at the root of this, people want to attack the thing that I do well. And I'm going to continue to raise funds for families, for charities, for causes, for people who are impacted by natural disasters and personal tragedies. I'm going to continue to track down white supremacists and hold them accountable. We're going to continue to fight to change the justice system from coast to coast. But I appreciate the support of all of our listeners. I'm sorry that we even had to make this type of report, but this is what you have to do sometimes when you're a public leader. And again, you can check it out at ShaunKingFundraisingReport.com. Appreciate you all. Take care.
Sean.
Thank you, Shaun.
Appreciate you. We're proud of you.
Yeah, you've got to provide all your information. The president don't even have to show his tax returns.
That part.
I know it's a stressful situation, but thank you for the clarification, Shaun.
Yeah. Thank you all. Take care, all right?
All right,
baby.
bro. Have a good remainder of the week.